Thursday afternoon in a 60 zone. This 34-year-old motorcyclist was on his way home. It's our job to work out why he never got there. The rider broke his neck on impact here, having crashed into this car that was turning right. By analysing the impact, we know he hit the car at 30 kilometres per hour, and these marks on the road tell us that he skidded for 21 metres, having braked hard here. When he first reacted, he was doing 68. But let's change one small thing. At 60, the driver would have had more chance to see him properly. He'd have stayed in control and reached this point a moment later. The car would have cleared his path and he'd be home by now. You decide on your speed. The physics decides whether you live or die.
Wait to see my granddaughter.
Are you ready to take charge of your money, build wealth, and protect your family's legacy? Then join us on October 9th, 2025 at Radisson Grenada Beach Resort for your Financial Future 2.0, Legacy, Literacy, and Liberation, a one-day financial summit designed to break cycles, build wealth, and leave a lasting legacy. You'll gain real-life budgeting hacks, a money mindset reboot, steps to create generational wealth, and practical tips on investing, estate planning, insurance, health, and business finance, all from expert speakers who know how to turn knowledge into action. With 2 inspirational keynotes, 3 powerful panel discussions, and 6 breakout sessions, you will leave with your personalized action plan for success. Don't wait. Secure your seat today. Tickets are EC $350 at disruptiveleadershipconference.com/YFF. Your Financial Future 2.0. Your next chapter starts here.
Blue Bubbles, PA Rentals and Event Supplies, Chateau de la Mas Grenada, Captain Harris Apartments, Gem Holiday Beach Resorts, Dana City Inn, Grenada Trade Center, proud partners of the 19th Annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert, Sunday, November 9th, 5 p.m., Grenada Trade Center.
In our part of the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. First, make a family disaster plan and ensure that everyone in your household is familiar and comfortable with it. Remember to add batteries and flashlights to your emergency kit. Now, for electrical safety. Familiarize yourself with your electrical panel, as it may be necessary to switch off the power during a storm or flood. Make sure you install a transfer or isolation switch to prevent your generator feeding electricity to Grenlec's line. If trees are too close to power lines, call Grenlec at 237 for advice. By following these easy steps, you will be well on your way to being hurricane ready. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters. Prepare now. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
Of it all, you'll It's 16 minutes after 9 o'clock, and it's time for To The Point this morning. Good morning, and welcome to the program again. And just want to remind you that this morning I've got with me the Honorable Kate Lewis, parliamentary representative for the constituency of St. Andrew Northeast. I hope I've got it right. And an opposition member, and on Tuesdays it's Opposition Tuesday. So good morning and welcome to the program, MP. How are you doing?
Good morning to you, Mr. Joseph. I am fine, thank you. It is definitely a pleasure to be here once again. And let me also say a pleasant good morning to all the viewers and listeners via the different platforms. It's definitely a pleasure to be representing the opposition here this morning.
And how is the bouncing little boy? How is he doing now?
He's a big boy now, I must say, because he has started preschool and everything is going fine.
Okay, haven't seen him in ages. All right, that's why. But nonetheless, in the interest of time, let's delve straight into the conversation this morning. And I know you speak a lot about the youths and youth in your constituency and sometimes by extension the country as a whole. Now, we're going to start off with in that direction this morning, all right? What is the kind of vibes you're picking up from young people in your constituency primarily, but then by extension throughout the length and breadth of Grenada? What are the vibes you're getting from the young people?
I must say that over the years, I have developed a real passion for youth development and youth empowerment. So it is always a pleasure to be in the company, to be engaging with our young people, because for me, when young people are given the opportunities to thrive, when they are given a platform to amplify issues, when young people have the opportunity to serve, I feel good, because it means that our future would be in great hands. As you said, I've always been engaged and conversing with our young people, and I can tell you what I'm picking up at this time is somewhat troubling to me, and that is as a result of the insufficient opportunities for them, the high unemployment amongst them, and the fear that, they may not survive. Some of them are feeling very hopeless at this time. And this is what I'm picking up. I'm not saying that some of them are not doing well, because we must accept that there are those who are doing well, they are thriving, they are in school, some are employed. But I'm speaking about those who are still in search of that opportunity, that training program, that program that would take them to the next level. And what I'm picking up from them, they are very frustrated at this time.
Okay, and that was generic, all right, general. As it relates to the young men, I know in the now opposition's tenure in office, a number of initiatives was started, and some of them were targeting young men, because we know that we do have a more serious problem with our young men in society. Now, what are you hearing from our young men? I know you had the Empower program and other initiatives. How are our young men doing?
I can tell you that while in government, we rolled out a program, as you mentioned, the Empower program, specifically designed to cater for the needs of our young men, to give them the opportunity at a second chance, a third chance, in some cases a fourth or fifth chance, because some of them dropped out of school. Some of them, even though they finished school, they found themselves in the wrong crowd. They're on the blocks, liming, they are, falling for gambling and drugs, and in some cases, gun violence, as we have seen a recent rise in those things at this time. But in conversing with them, they are looking for that hope. They are looking for that opportunity, while they are frustrated because of the lack of training and in technical and vocational areas for them. We are concerned that our young men are not sufficiently engaged, because you see, some young men, they did not have the right startup. They did not grow up amongst people they can model or people they can look up to. So they fell through the cracks, they fell through the system. And if you do not have programs specifically targeting their needs, then we are in trouble. And that is why it is no surprise that you see 2 weeks ago, it was broadcasted, I think it's on your station, your news station, a group of young men, while in the uniform at Tamsisi, they were out there gambling. This type of unhealthy decision must be as a result of, an inadequate system catering for them. We are concerned, as I said, and we are asking that more opportunities can be given, targeted opportunities. I think the government did continue the Empower program. We have not heard much about it. Where are we? Because after 3 years in office, we should have had about 3 batches engaged into that program. Remember, every year, a new group of students are graduating or leaving school. So if we do not have sufficient programs catering to their needs, then we will be in trouble. And that is the reason why you're seeing so many unhealthy decisions being made by our young men today, because they are not sufficiently engaged. Added to the Empower program, we had a program called Fostering Level-Headed Youth, not only catering to the young men, but the point is here, we went into at-risk communities to identify these young people, in more cases young men, who were at risk to be in conflict with the law, at risk of being, menace to society. We went and we pulled them out, and we developed programs to their needs, their situation, to get them out of it. So while the Empower program, I think it's still ongoing, we have not heard much about it if we're in the 3rd batch, the 4th batch, since this new government came into office. But we need more community-based initiatives to get the young men engaged and empowered.
I was listening to a conversation on another platform, and someone who is engaged in I think it's the Empowered program, is claiming that it's ongoing, but the rolling out of it seems to be problematic at the moment, in the sense that sometimes the tutors or the facilitators and so forth, they don't always appear and so forth. However, the good thing about it is, at the end of the program, or the end of the month, there is that stipend that comes out, and that's a good thing for the participants, or at least that participant in particular. Now, in terms of gaps, let's assume that the NNP administration, or the NNP, gets back into office and forms the next government. What stopgap measures would you put in place to revisit these initiatives and ensure that the younger folks are taken care of or looked out for?
Okay, so I'm happy that you mentioned the situation with maybe that one Empower participant, because I've also encountered another participant who said he's no longer in the program because the program is not, as you say, rolled out properly. There are many challenges. I'm not sure if those who are implementing it, they are not sufficiently prepared to implement it. You see, when we rolled out that program, it was carefully designed and structured. And then you're dealing with a group of young men who are not intrinsically motivated to participate. So you have to carefully spend time with them, develop programs. So when you start off with life skills, it's not just teaching general life skills. We had to develop mentorship programs, man to man. What is it to be a man? How does it feel? What are some of the attributes that you need? We had men who have been successful, men who were in conflict with the law and eventually found their way on the right side of things. They were able to share their stories. So if you're not carefully implementing it, then there will be challenges. As it relates to the stipend, the young man I spoke to, he said they were not receiving the stipend on a consistent basis. You see, the stipend is very important to these young men. It allows them to pay the transportation, to buy them meals, take care of, the simple hygiene and all of these things. So the stipend is very important to them. And if they are not receiving it, it will discourage them. But once we get back into office, we have a track record. We have a successful track record of engaging and empowering our young people. The variety of projects and programs that we carefully design to suit their needs. You see, our young people come in different categories. You have those who are thriving and they just need a further push. You have those who fall through the system. So the programs cannot be one size fits all. It has to be carefully designed and structured to suit the need of each category of young people. And as I said, the New National Party, we have a successful track record of engaging and empowering our young people, and we'll continue to do that. We will improve on some of the programs while we'll create new initiatives for our young people.
Okay. You just mentioned something that this is 3 years into the current administration's term, and usually a political term is 5 years. So it's no secret when you look at what's happening on the ground, the election machinery is starting to kick in. All right, we're seeing group meetings here, there, and everywhere, and so forth. So I am of the opinion, or I would hope, that you're engaged with your constituents more now than even the way you usually do throughout, the earlier years. What are some of the things you're picking up from your constituents in terms of the challenges, jobs availability, and infrastructural development, and so forth? What are you picking up from your constituents?
So, fortunately for me, I'm always engaged with my constituents, while in government and even in opposition. And I can tell you, what I'm picking up is not so much good news. Because at this time, families are struggling. They are struggling because of the high cost of living. It's like they're living day to day, as we say, hand to mouth. That is how they are living, because when you have inflation rising so high, the cost of the basic necessities have increased. So the government has placed tax on sugar. They have placed tax on water. And recently, the increase in the electricity, it is making it difficult for families to survive or to live comfortable. And this is one of the challenges they are faced with. Yet, when you go around again, some of them would tell you there is no money circulating in the economy. And they would say, Ms. Kate, when you all were there, we had money we could have spent, but right now it is a challenge. Businesses within the constituency, they are complaining. I met this one businesswoman who had to close down her shop in search for employment because the shop is not bringing in any money again as it used to do. And this is the first time, she said, in 15 years that she had to go and search for employment. because the small business, the shopping is not making enough. It's not profitable enough to keep her there. So what you see happening, most of the small shops, they are closed during the day. The owners are out in search of employment, making they're hustling, finding whatever means to make it. And what I've also noticed is that the few shops that remain open consistently, and there are a group of young men there, is because they are gambling. And this is a serious cause for concern. So we have issues of lack of economic activities, the high cost of living through the inflation rates and so. And I must point out, because this government like to claim, well, we have increased the minimum wage. If you increase the minimum wage, which is not a bad thing, but then you have a further increase in the cost of living, is it balanced off? Or you have to look at what percentage did the minimum wage increase as compared to the increase in the cost of living, the cost of the inflation at this time. So nothing is wrong with increasing the minimum wage, although some people have never received that increase. But is it sufficient enough to deal with the high cost of food items, the high cost of living that our people have to deal with at this time?
Wonderful. Now, as I said, the election machinery is kicking in. All right. And it is my opinion that this election campaign period is going to be one of the most exciting and thrilling one, because there are a plethora of issues out there and people are talking from all different sides of their mouths. All right.
Yes.
Now, things that affect your constituency. With the election looming just around 2 years away, I am certain that from a national executive body's perspective, caretakers and representatives are communicating. The issues that you say your constituents are facing, is it safe to say that it's a sort of similar trend with other constituencies when you hear from your caretakers, your colleague caretakers and so forth? And how do you think that interferes with the national picture?
Okay, so what is happening, or the issues in St. Andrew Northeast, is a reflection of what is happening throughout Grenada. So throughout Grenada, our citizens are crying out because of the high cost of living. There is no doubt about it. The recent increase in electricity, people were out there loud about it, not realizing that government can play a role to reduce that electricity cost, because being the majority shareholder, and we say that government is for the needs and the welfare of its people. We are not looking to benefit or to profit so much that we cannot reduce the cost so that our people can enjoy better electricity rates. So what you're seeing, basically, we could say it's a national crisis, and the government has basically lost touch. They are not bringing any solutions. The only claim that some of the defenders are saying it's happening all over the world. And while we acknowledge that these things happen all over the world, a government is so placed or is employed to find ways to make life comfortable for our citizens, and they are not doing that. So I can tell you, our caretakers throughout the different constituencies, caretaker candidates, they are having the same issues identified, because what is happening in one constituency is a reflection of what is happening nationally.
Okay, thank you for answering that question there. It's 27 minutes on to 10 o'clock, folks. We've got to take a commercial break. We'll be back shortly with more on To The Point. And if you're just joining us, just letting you know that I am speaking with parliamentary representative on the opposition side this time for the constituency of St. Andrew Northeast, the Honorable Keith Lewis. We take a quick break. We'll be back after these messages. Don't you go anywhere.
Are you ready to take charge of your money, build wealth, and protect your family's legacy? Then join us on October 9th, 2025 at Radisson Grenada Beach Resort for Your Financial Future 2.0 Legacy, Literacy, and Liberation, a one-day financial summit designed to break cycles, build wealth, and leave a lasting legacy. You'll gain real-life budgeting hacks, a money mindset reboot, steps to create generational wealth, and practical tips on investing, estate planning, insurance, health, and business finance, all from expert speakers who know how to turn knowledge into action. With 2 inspirational keynotes, 3 powerful panel discussions, and 6 breakout sessions, you will leave with your personalized action plan for success. Don't wait. Secure your seat today. Tickets are EC $350 at disruptiveleadershipconference.com/YFF. Your Financial Future 2.0. Your next chapter starts here.
Blue Bubbles, PA Rentals and Event Supplies, Chateau de la Mas Grenada, Captain Harris Apartments, Gem Holiday Beach Resorts, Dana City Inn, Grenada Trade Center, proud partners of the 19th Annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert, Sunday, November 9th, 5 p.m., Grenada Trade Center.
In our part of the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. First, make a family disaster plan and ensure that everyone in your household is familiar and comfortable with it. Remember to add batteries and flashlights to your emergency kit. Now, for electrical safety. Familiarize yourself with your electrical panel, as it may be necessary to switch off the power during a storm or flood. Make sure you install a transfer or isolation switch to prevent your generator feeding electricity to Grenlec's line. If trees are too close to power lines, call Grenlec at 237 for advice. By following these easy steps, you will be well on your way to being hurricane ready. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters.
Welcome back, viewers and listeners, to The Point. It's 23 minutes on to 10 o'clock, and I've got with me via our Zoom platform a parliamentary representative for the constituency of St. Andrew Northeast, Kate Lewis. And before we wrapped off the segment prior to the commercial break, I want to go back to this. The NNP has been having a number of community engagements. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's only last night you had a consultation in St. Patrick, in the St. Patrick Anglican School, pertaining to that bill with the change in age for what sort of responses? With election just around the corner, how confident that the team of the new National Party feels in reclaiming offices?
So I must say that even though we are in opposition, we have never stopped engaging constituents. It has been done, I would say from day one. Because while in government, we do it. And even in opposition, we continue to do it. Because you see, it is not just about position, it's about people, and proper representation is engaging our constituents. So we believe in that. The series of engagements we've been having through the street light meetings and so have been very successful. In some cases, I ask myself if people realize that the actual campaign for the election has not started as yet. This is just a few street light meetings, but the energy that we are receiving from our supporters, the energy from people in general, the people who would come to you and tell you, keep on doing what you're doing. Very soon we will get back into office, because they are not satisfied. Some of them felt like, okay, we just wanted to give a new look, a new team a chance, and they're highly disappointed. So we are very confident that we will be returning to office, but we are not complacent. Last night's engagement was not from a party's perspective, but from an opposition team perspective, led by the leader of His Majesty's Opposition, Honorable Emlyn Pear, because the bill to be brought forward in Parliament to reduce the age of civil legal responsibility, we see it as something very critical and not something that has to be politicized, because if this bill is passed, it will affect families throughout Grenada, and not families that support a particular party, but families in general. So that was done on an opposition standpoint, as opposition members of Parliament, not from a party standpoint, because we had religious leaders there, people from the community and so on. Some of them may not support us as a party, but they are interested in knowing and understanding what this bill entails and how it will affect them. But as we continue to engage our people through a series of streetlight meetings, God Joseph Innocent, tomorrow we are in Chocolate City. And you know where Chocolate City is?
So that
is home base.
That means Tito and those guys will be cooking a big pot of oil down and stuff, right?
Exactly. Okay. So, you know, these streetlight meetings, it will now be in my constituency tomorrow, in the community that born and raised, where I was born and raised. And you know, we always bring a different vibe. While we will discuss the issues and stick to the issues, we always bring that fun and that excitement to it. So I want to encourage and invite everyone to come on, to have a look, come and listen. And if you're unable, then it will be live via the different media, social media platforms, so pay attention, because we will be speaking about the issues that affect our people who we represent. So yes, if you ask me, our level of confidence for getting back into government, we are very confident. We understand that it requires a lot of work, so we are not complacent, but we're going to do what we are accustomed doing in engaging our people.
All right, before we open up the lines, because I like the public's engagement, all right, and before we even get into that, let me make it categorically clear up front that the norms remain when you are going to call in. If you have a question or a comment to make, it's going to be respectful, it's going to be brief, and it's going to be within the boundaries and parameters of morals, okay? So that's when we open up the lines. Before we open the lines, I want to put two things towards you. There has been a proliferation in recent times where we see a number of school children involved in physical altercation. Some of it are results of bullying, whether it's cyber or physical bullying per se. Also, what is the NNP's position on that bill? What is the contentious issue with the bill from NNP's perspective? So we're looking at what is NNP's take on, you know, the issue of bullying and physical altercation. It's involving boys as well as girls, children in school uniforms. I know as a dedicated and committed former teacher, that will affect you one way or the other. And also, what is NNP's position, the contentious issue for NNP in that bill, that legislation that is being brought forward?
Okay, so let me take it from the bullying first of all. As a party, and I must say also as an individual, we do not support bullying at all in any form, whether it's physical or cyber bullying, we do not support it, and we must call it out for what it is. But recently we have seen an increase in cyberbullying more so. The intention of some of these people is to silence you, to intimidate you, to affect your character and so forth. And you see, the implications of bullying is far-reaching. Some people, they fall through the depression stage. Some people cannot move ahead because of that type of bullying. So we have to call it out for what it is. It is wrong. And those who are engaged in it, whether you belong to the party that I support or you belong to another party, bullying in any form is wrong. It affects the people who are bullied, and sometimes it has long-term implications for them. So we have to try our best, whatever programs to educate people as to the effects of bullying, the far-reaching impact. Innocent, let me give you an example. A few months ago, there was a young lady who mispronounced a word on social media. She used, instead of clout, she used cloud. And the level of bullying she received on social media sent her straight to depression, to the point where she felt she could have committed suicide. So if she did not have a strong support system, many people who are involved in that type of bullying would have felt sorry and say if they didn't know. But you know, these are the things we have to educate people about. While for you, who is participating in the bullying, you do not feel a how, but wait till it hits home. So we have to think about that. Bullying is wrong in any form, especially the recent increase in cyberbullying. You know, we as politicians, we get bullied every day. And, you know, we might be able to deal with it. So we have to be able to protect our mental space, our mental health. So I can give you, for example, how I deal with it. For me, I'm bullied because I'm a politician. You know, there is a concerted effort to, let's say, to try to get me to be silent, try to intimidate me or to defame my character. However, I protect my peace at any cost. So if I know if someone is negative all the time about me, I block and I delete that person. You cannot come into my space to try to defame my character or intimidate me. But this is how I deal with it. What about a young person who does not know how to deal with it? So let us try to educate ourselves about the far-reaching impact it can have on our people, call it out for what it is. It is wrong, and as I said, I do not support it. Our party do not support it at all. So going back to the bill that seeks to reduce the age of civil legal responsibility and our position on that. You see, what this bill is doing, it is reducing the age to 16 and in some cases 12, giving our teenagers, our adolescents, the opportunity to access sexual and reproductive health services without the knowledge and consent of their parents. We cannot support that because at the end of it all, we know that our teenagers, they are not matured enough at that level to make such decisions. We understand the intent, but the intent and the bill itself is not going together. So we are not supporting removing parental rights. We are not supporting making parents powerless and giving children, and in some cases, even a minister of government, the right to make those decisions for our children. No, we believe that our parents or families are the first protectors of the children, and we cannot support removing the authority from them, especially reproductive services, surgical services that can have serious implications if it goes wrong on our children. Okay, so what is happening there now? The bill also states who accept liability if something goes wrong, not the one who performs the activity. So it goes back to the parents. However, you are removing that authority from the parents. So we cannot support it. And that is why we are saying, and we are appealing to government, have far and wide consultations with our people so that they can understand the nature of this bill. They can understand that this bill has far-reaching implications for them, and we do not want them to bring it back in Parliament.
If the NNP was given the opportunity to remodel that bill, what sort of remodeling would take place?
Well, of course, you must first of all engage the public, engage those who would be affected. In that case is mostly the parents. Let them have their say, because the government is claiming the intention of the bill is to protect our children from some of the perpetrators of sexual abuse and so. So our stance is bring a bill that will deal with the perpetrators of sexual abuse on children, because we don't support that. Okay? So the bill will be remodeled to deal with the perpetrators of sexual abuse.
All right, thank you very much. All right, folks, it's now 11 minutes away from 10 o'clock, and at this time, with the parliamentary representatives' consent, we accommodate our calls because we need to interact with our people. We need to know what's going on. We have a first caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Pretty interested indeed. However, I realize the so-called minister you have on board, she is pretty consistent with inconsistencies. And it's amazing. You had her predecessor, she never, while she was in Parliament, she never said, okay, sir, you are the Prime Minister, and you are bullying the pensioners of this nation who worked hard and labor for the island, and now they're at a stage where they could have gotten the monies. But instead of that, she sat in Parliament and represented and did not do anything. So who are the biggest bully in Grenada? And who exercised the worst sort of bullying we ever seen? And we have to understand, people cannot be in denial. The fact of the matter is, this present administration is going forward under the leadership of Brother Deacon. It seems as if people's eyes are seeing what they want to see. There are so much development taking place right now. For example, education. The free tuition, because they want to see the youth of the nation get educated. And when you're educated, you're empowered. And when you're empowered, it's better for everybody. So these are the things. Now, when you're in government, you have to have the political will to make decisions, you know. And what we've seen over the years are people who only claim that they're bright and only claim that they win election, but they never really had the vision, the holistic vision for Grenada. Now you have a young man who come in after 8 months and he showed what a statesman should do. And he's on the way of doing even greater things. And we're just trying to critique because we want to get back inside it. People, we have to understand what is bullying. And then if you have politicians who are coward and not pointing out to people who are the greatest bullies in Grenada, then we have a problem. By coming now and political posturing and telling us about bullies when we saw the greatest bully in Grenada ever had. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, caller. MP, you care to respond?
Oh yes, definitely. And I understand the need for the caller to defend his party and maybe to safeguard whatever position he holds. However, let me first of all say that I am not a so-called minister. I, Kate Louise Peters, is an elected member of Parliament, so you should get that correct first of all. Secondly, he referred to former Prime Minister bullying pensioners by not paying the pension. This is far from the truth. It is a narrative that this current administration wants our people to believe. However, before they got into government, 2,200 200 people were already receiving pension according to the laws of Grenada, according to the 1958 law. So he must be aware of that. When the court ruling came out in 2022, for those people who were employed after the 83-85 era, as a government in office, the New National Party government, we did not appeal the judgment. Not appealing means the indication to obey the court ruling. And that is the case with the pension. So, to go forward and say that you have a young prime minister who is doing well, he might be doing well for you, but speak to the general citizenry of our country. They are not feeling that way. Some of the initiatives you spoke about, free tuition for our students, this is nothing new. Students have been receiving free tuition throughout the years, government upon government. However, it was done in such a way, those who could afford to pay for the children, they paid. And those who couldn't afford, we paid while we were in office. We paid their tuition, and we had sufficient resources to allow them to receive transportation and meal allowance. Mr. Joseph, do you know today I have students who are waiting on assistance for the same tuition he's talking about to be free. Because if this government is honest, they would tell you that, yes, if you sign up for maybe the Arts and Sciences program at TAMCC, you qualify. However, when you sign up for the technical and vocational areas, you don't qualify for free tuition. They come to us. Fortunately, the constituency allowance, we are able to help them with that. Also, without the transportation assistance, some of them cannot get to the school. We have people who come to us and we assist them with the little assistance allowance that we receive for them. It goes back to them. But do not give people the impression that free tuition is something new and it is all well and good. Compare the people who are registering into the system and the amount that is dropping out because they do not have transportation to get to the school.
Okay, thank you. We do have another caller via our WhatsApp platform. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Good morning, and to you and to your listeners. Good morning to Miss Honorable Skeeter Lewis, the elected member of Parliament. Yes, I want to take a drift onto the bill which the government decided to implement into the next draft. Now, did they come to the parents, come to the public place and do an engagement with us? No. So you want to tell me my daughter, who is 12 years, now in farm, she will go and do what she wants to do when that bill passes, and the parents don't know who is giving her that money. Is it the perpetrator? Is it the state? Or is it the parents? So how would the parents don't know? And what kind of control would the parents be taking control of the children? Come on. We have to wake up as Grenadians, and this thing is beyond politics. This thing, it is not about NNP or NDC. Our children will be going down the drain. Yeah, because they will always find loophole in that bill to break it, to go around it, to go inside it, to do whatever they want to do with it, just to fit their secret things. Yeah, so we have to be very, very careful. And I just want to empathize. One person put under the life, you, Honorable Kate Lewis, is paying your driver $5,000. Now, I want you to make that record straight, because I think I straightened the person under the life, but I want you to make it straight publicly. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
What? $5,000 as a driver? How much would you pay me to wash the tires of the vehicle?
That does that. Can you imagine the things people would say for likes on social media? You understand? I think some things we don't entertain. We know that is far from the truth. We know that is not true. I don't pay my driver personally. My driver is employed under the Parliament of Grenada, and Parliament pays. That's it. And I must say that the caller is raising a very important and critical concern as it relates to the bill, and that is why, as members of the opposition, we are bringing it to the public so that they can be aware as to the impact of this bill on the families.
We do have another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Mr. Joseph. Greetings to your guest. Can your guest hear me, Mr. Joseph?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
My question to you is specifically directed to your position as a quote-unquote elected member of the parliament. A parliamentarian, a lawmaker, a legislator. The last month, the month of August, we saw some serious debate, quote-unquote, relative to the alteration of the current Constitution Order of Grenada, the Oath of Allegiance. My understanding from listening to the proceedings is that you voted for it. Am I correct, ma'am?
You are correct, caller.
Hallelujah. So let's go now to the serious part of it. I would like to find out, my general question is, how much thought you as a lawmaker put into the issue before making the decision to vote for it? The Constitution of this here country states in Section 39 that the Parliament has full authority to alter any provision. But it went on, or it goes on, pardon, with a caveat there, prepositional clause that says, in the manner specified, Section 39, subsection 1. Section 111 of the Constitution refers to the list of sections of the Constitution which demands referendum. There we have Section 19, relative to the Governor General. Section 21, again to the Governor General and the oath. Section 57, relative to the King. Section 23, relative to the Parliament. It says crystal clearly that there shall be a Parliament of Grenada which shall include His Majesty, a Senate and a House of Representatives. Section 111. What if I got myself mixed up? Anyway, Section 111. No, I did that. Refers to the oath of allegiance. I'll do it a little faster here. Pay attention. Bullet point 8 of subsection 1. It says the oath of allegiance means the oath of allegiance as set out in Schedule 3 of this Constitution. Let's go down to the schedules. Schedule 1. I think I made a mistake a while ago.
And caller, in the interest of time, we've already exhausted our time. So could you wrap this?
My question is this, ma'am. There are some other things which how much importance did you put into what the Constitution said as it relates to the changing of the oath being a schedule, where a schedule is an integral part, an integral, intrinsic, innate, natural part of a law? Were you certain of what you were doing? Can you give us an idea of what you thought you were doing when you voted for that act? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller.
Yes, caller, and I think this is a very important matter that this caller has raised, because clearly I am not a constitutional lawyer. I'm a legislator in Parliament, and we were guided for this bill we were guided by the reasoning, the explanation by the constitutional lawyer, QC Francis Alexis, and his team.
He's now Casey.
Casey, yes, Casey, Francis Alexis and his team, who they are versed in the constitution and the laws. However, as a party, we believe that a referendum was needed to make that change. We believe that. However, we also believe that our allegiance should be made to the state of Grenada. You understand? And we had a consultation with the Prime Minister and his team that even though we agree to support this bill at this time, we will go back to the people. And there was an agreement to go back to the people. And if the people agree that referendum is needed, we will repeal the law and go back for a referendum. That was the agreement at the time and the rationale for us voting yes to bearing allegiance to the state of Grenada.
So are you saying that when the motion was made, the opposition pledged its support on the grounds that, okay, we're agreeing to support changing our allegiance to the state from the king to the state of Grenada. However, a consultative process would have been adopted to go back to the people to make it mandatory?
Definitely, you are correct. We agreed to support the bill on condition that together, as opposition and government, we will go back to the people to hear from them if they so believe that a referendum is needed. The Prime Minister met with his team and he agreed. If you paid attention to what was happening at that time in Parliament, there were several recesses because we wanted to clarify that while we as opposition believe that this need a referendum, we also believe that our allegiance is to the state of Grenada. And as a team, if we agree together that we will go back, and if the people so believe that we need a referendum, then we will repeal the law and take it to the referendum. So these are the conditions upon which we agreed to support the bill.
It appears a bit of putting the horse before the cart, but it is what it is. And we do hope that because I think it's a good move, this allegiance to the king and the throne speech and all this sort of thing. But there are so many other underlying tentacles that would be affected one way or the other, because now swearing allegiance to the state, it means that we may no longer need a governor general.
No, and that is the thing with the bill. You change it to swear allegiance to the state of Grenada, but nothing else changes.
Because we still have His Majesty's prison.
Yes, exactly. Nothing else
The
changes.
Royal Grenada Police
Force. It
was
just that aspect that changed to plead allegiance to the state of Grenada, which we all agreed to. And we did not want the back and forth. We did not want the big debate on it because we were guided, as I said, KC, Francis Alexis and his team. However, to be honest, as opposition, and that is why, remember, we had referendums before in our time in government. Okay, if we so believe that it was just a matter of just coming to Parliament and make that change, we would have done so before.
Okay.
You understand?
All right. We do have a caller, and let me just instruct here. You notice it's now 7 minutes after 10 o'clock, but because of the technical glitch we had, we started the program in earnest just at around 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. So we're sort of reclaiming that time, all right? We do have a caller that has been waiting via our WhatsApp platform for quite a while. Caller, good morning. I hope you're still there.
Good morning. The king is innocent.
Yeah, and don't play innocent.
Good morning to
that was bullying at its height, speaker.
Good morning, MP Cape Lewis. And I have to repeat that. MP Cape Lewis, you're elected by the people, for the people. Nobody can take that away from you. So whether you're someone who on the other side or whatever, respect the position. And I'm calling for that here today for respect on the position, right? When I call on this program here, I always give meaningful contribution as someone who works within the private sector, and I'm going to say it again. I'm someone who, went through the tourism hospitality department. Miss Lewis, sorry I didn't get the opportunity for the free tuition, but that's something else for itself right now. So let us proceed. The gambling that I see going on in TAMCC currently, in my tenure being in TAMCC, I would speak of it. There were such things that was happening, but I believe what is going on now, we more have the use of technology, and people now, when they see things, they tend to post it a lot, which is good. It's not a bad thing with posting, because it makes us individuals aware of what is really happening on the ground, what is really happening in, various institutions, so forth, so on. But something that I was looking to hear, Ms. Lewis, and I hope that the political leader is listening, because she's the one that's supposed to be Ms. Pierre, Honorable M. Pierre, controlling the flock, controlling what goes outside there, controlling what the people see, what the people take in. Mr. Glynn, during one of his presentation, that was something that he mentioned. He spoke of the breadfruit being $20 for one. Well, it was mainly on cost of living, and he spoke of even the gambling is not making money. And I was asking myself, why would you say something like that, knowing that we have a problem with the blast, etc., and so young people, as we've seen going over social media, gambling in the various schools, TAMCC, as a matter of fact, that was something that should have been pulled immediately on the night. But I guess in the heat of everything, some things are overlooked. That's how we see it. My final point, because I know we are strapped for time, and this is something that I want to see change in the political landscape. I need to see a change in that. Now, we have in ruling members, we have in opposition members, and what tends to happen a lot in society over the years, as we may see, when a party is not in power, the party supporters, the MPs, not much is being done for the opposition members. However, there is a change now, well, at least 10,000 constituency allowance and an increase, which you all parliamentarians got, all of you all, and I repeat that, all of you all parliamentarians got that increase. And as taxpayers, I think that we are placed with a task, whether today this one is in opposition, tomorrow this one is opposition, moving in the new era. I think that more emphasis needs to be placed by the opposition members. Remember, you're employed, you're working, representing the people. So I believe in all 15 constituencies where there is MPs and where there is candidates, not because you're a candidate and you don't win a seat and you may represent the opposition, but you should get the information of your people who need the assistance and bring it to whosoever. If you're not an MP, bring it to whosoever may have the will, whoever minister in charge of social development, whoever in charge of housing, whoever in charge of where. Try and bring our people up, because, and let me wrap up here, because at the end of the day, this thing is about people. It's not I have to be inside it or this one inside it, because you could have an MP inside of there, and if you have a candidate who are caretaker who is representing the opposition, and the MP may win their seat, and the candidate speak of problems that are happening in his constituency, the caretaker, and he would only tell me what happening and not get the names of the people who may need the assistance, because no MP, and I repeat, Miss Lewis, even when you were in the National Party were in power, you could not have sustained the entire constituency. That's impossible. So I think we need to get a new model whereby we have this thing going hand in hand, and not some Grenadian people may lose benefit because, they don't have anyone to go to, because some people may not want to go to the National Democratic Congress office, or if the NMP in power, National Democratic Congress, people may not want to go to the NMP office. So I think that the MPs, opposition, caretakers, opposition, they have a duty and a task, and this is where the game needs to step up. You get the names who might need bathroom assistance, who might need housing, who might need this, who might need that. You bring it towards the MP. If there is an MP, if you're an MP, then you bring it to where it needs to be. And then you speak of these things because you can't leave your people behind suffering when we all are taxpayers and we contributing to the taxpayers. Also, last but not least, before I leave, the new bill with the the proposed bill that the dialogue was on last night. For most people, there are some things that could be reconsidered. And for the new National Party, I heard Ms. Lewis speak about it, and she spoke of the NMP to put tighter legislation if they're given the opportunity, but it's not only legislation. We still need to ensure that these people, they could get, yes, as you say, they could get the amount of years up there, they could, whatever need to happen from the court perspective happen. But we have to ensure that if a child, a female in particular, gets pregnant by, let's say, their father, their uncle, through incest, through rape, or whatever is the case, that child should have, and I'm speaking from my family background where I had two persons who been through that position, and I could see it today. That child should have the opportunity. They should have that to decide whether or not they want to continue with these scars. No, I'm not here to debate it because from a religious perspective, a pastor, a priest, a bishop may share a different perspective from it, but that's my view. I believe that child should be protected in some way or the other from that scars in moving forward because not everyone is mentally prepared to bring forth a child into the world and have to look at that mistake that happened. And in some cases, the perpetrator, it takes how much years before the case will call and you still see them in your community. So legislation, yes, but we need to ensure that we have where the child could actually make a decision because not all of them, they may not come out and speak, but I could tell you, not all of them want to carry on with that. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I think I've been more than lenient, but there are times when you need to hear the full thought pattern of the caller, so hence the reason why. One of the things that he mentioned, as we have to do the wrap now, so I'll give you the opportunity to wrap up, but it could come, shouldn't it be coming under the ambit of local government, where you're a caretaker or a candidate, but you're not the member of, or you might be the member of parliament, but your party is not in administration, you're not the administration. So shouldn't that be falling under local government?
But unfortunately, we do not have a local government system that is effectively administered within our country at this time. And so I believe the caller has good intention for making this recommendation that it doesn't matter which party is in government, that the people of our country, despite whichever party they support, should receive the benefits. And if you're an elected member of parliament, you should have the resources to be able to assist your people. However, if you're elected and you're in opposition, you do not have sufficient resources to assist. And there is no pathway or mechanism to ensure your people receive the benefits that they need or they deserve. So in going forward, and as the caller is making a request for the system to change, I think it is a good call. It is for something that would head in a positive direction. And maybe when we get into government, we will have to look at that as how it would go. The caller also mentioned something about Mr. Glynn, Jelani Glynn's presentation in one of the streetlight meetings. I think what is happening, the caller is taking the statement literal. In my opinion, Mr. Glynn made the statement to allude to the fact of the high cost of living that people are experiencing at this time. So do not take the statement in a literal manner. He also made mention of the fact that parliamentarians have received an increase in their salaries, all parliamentarians across the board, and that is correct. However, when we were in government, our principle was that once you're a minister, then that was the pay. So there was no separate pay for being a member of parliament. But this government felt, well, they're doing two separate jobs. They have to be paid as a minister as well as an MP. And because we are members of parliament, of course, we benefited from that. But the intention was not for us to benefit. But it is so welcome because, of course, we do have responsibilities and we are elected by the people. We are providing a service to the people as well. But I must say, though the caller was long and I realize you want to wrap up, Ido said, but the caller was one of the callers who I believe has good intentions for Grenada.
Any parting words?
Let me say thanks again to GBN and your platform for giving us the Tuesdays to speak to our people, speak to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Let them know as a party, as a new national party, we remain committed to people and people's development, and we'll continue to work with them. We'll continue to do what we have to do to bring better benefits and more development for our country. Just a reminder, tomorrow we are in Chocolate City for another street light meeting. Come listen to the issues, and we are grateful for the support we have been receiving thus far. The new national party will be forming the next government. Have a blessed day.
Optimism at its best. Have a great day yourself, P. Kate Lewis Peters, and to all your constituents and to your colleagues. And have yourself a great day, a great week, and we look forward to another engagement.
Thank you, and may God bless you and your team.
Thank you very much. Folks, that has been to the point this morning, and as I said, it was extended version because of the technical glitch we had, which saw us starting just around 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. That's it for To the Point. Thank you for being a part.